Hey guys, we're Swervedriver, and this is Records in My Life.
Guys, thank you all for being on the show.
Thank you for having us.
How are Swervedriver doing tonight?
Pulling through, surviving.
All good?
Yeah.
It's funny because last time I saw you guys in Austin, it's going back a few years, it was like bright, sunny, hot, and now we're talking on your tour bus, a little dark, rainy.
Raining outside.
Complete opposite.
All weathers can, all climates we can be played by us.
That's right.
Something.
You're an all-weather,
Well,
not a fair weather, but an all-weather band.
As long as we're
Durable
inside,
band.
As long as we're inside, we don't care. It's fine.
Tell me a bit about your latest record. It's come out a while ago, but the title and inspirations.
I don't know really. Yeah, the title it was changed from something else. There was a song called that title just sounded good, but there's also sort of I suppose it's about kind of the state of the world a little bit, social commentary perhaps.
We live in dark times, you may have noticed.
Just a bit. A tiny bit.
Yeah.
And did you write, was the album written, did you go into the studio, was it all written, or did you write a lot of the stuff in?
We went in the studio with, we had a couple of weeks of studio time in LA at the end of the tour in 2017. And we just thought we might as well record all the ideas we had, get them down, all the ideas we had. So we ended up with like 30 different tunes, which was different from the last album where we only had 10, and we recorded 10, and we knew that was the album, even down to the running order. But this time it was kind of like, we got all these songs that came out of nowhere sort of thing. And then we had to cull it down. So we figured the best way to do that was the songs that, Jimmy said to me, we've got to cull this down somehow. And I thought, I guess the songs, see how many of them have got lyrics or lyrical ideas. And then it made it down to about 13 songs.
Otherwise, we'd still be working on it now. Probably,
It would be
next
the-
year's the time. 35 track album.
The Swervedriver's Chinese Democracy, right? Let's go back to the beginning of the days. I know that Mark Gardner helped you along the way, signed with, I guess it was Creation. So what albums, were there any Ride albums or Mark Gardner produced records that influenced you?
Mark Gardner, producer. Well, he recorded the vocals for our previous album. I recorded around at his house in Oxford for I Wasn't Born to Lose You. But it was very exciting when Ride got signed, because it was a sort of open secret in Oxford, I guess, at the time, that they'd been picked up by Creation. But the Creation weren't going to release anything until January the 1st, or whatever it was, the first week of 1990. And that was really exciting, yeah. I remember seeing them at the Jericho Tavern, opening for our old bass player, Adi, had a second band called Satan Knew My Father, who were kind of like metally sort of thrash, I suppose. And then, we were down there, and then Ride appeared for their sound check, and everyone kind of looked over. This is quite a nice noise, because it was like, very wah-wah-y and loud, but with the harmonies and stuff. And that first EP was fantastic when that came out. It was exciting. There's a second one went in the top 10,
and their gigs were great as well. Their early gigs, we used to go a lot of them in the Folk and in London and stuff like that. They're supporting all the bands at the time, and it was great actually. But we got signed long before their record was out.
Right.
So it wasn't like their album was going to be an influence on us. It's like we got signed kind of shortly after, really. And then they got the first two records out, and it was, you can actually get records in the charts. I didn't think that was possible. But
you got signed on a tape, one of the demo...
Yeah, everybody got signed on a tape back then, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Alan McGee, I guess that Mark had just passed Alan McGee your tape, and then
Alan McGee apparently listened to it in a limo in Los Angeles with Guy Chadwick. Said, I got this tape, and put it on, and then they're both like, this is great, you've got to sign them. And they signed us on the basis of that demo without seeing us play or anything.
That era was a pretty super important time in England for bands. What other records were inspiring you during that period? And you guys can chime in too. I'd love to hear from Mick and Mikey.
Well, I think things changed with kind of Spaceman 3 and bands like, because there was I think after Live Aid, I would say, was when kind of like the punk dream died, you know, because I mean all the bands in the early 80s, even like Human League and stuff, it sort of came from punk, but then Live Aid, it was all kind of saxophones and timely backing singers and stuff, and everything kind of went underground, and we kind of went back and investigated, you know, Pebbles albums and discovered the Stooges and stuff like that, and then towards the end of the 80s, they found there were lots of other bands who were also, you know, doing a similar thing, you know, in different towns. So and then it all kind of came together, I suppose, around about, you know, 1990, like we were saying, bands suddenly getting in the charts. It was like, oh my God, you know, we beat them. So.
There's alternative rock, or as they called it then, was big. You know, the Pixies and Dinosaur Jr. and Sonic Youth and stuff was making headway, you know, and was really good and really exciting, you know. After kind of the 80s was kind of crap.
Who inspired you guys? I mean, but the Pixies had an influence on you, and Jay Mascis, and
totally. Dinosaur Jr., Sonic Youth, Husker Du, massively.
Husker Du, right?
Thin White Rope. I like that Butthole Surfers album, Hairway to Stephen.
Right.
I mean, sort of albums you could buy, and you play them over and over again, like albums had been 20 years previously, you know. In the early 80s, there weren't that many albums really that you would play, you would fall in love with, you know. It was crazy about, and then all of a sudden there were again, you know. I played Bug over and over and over again, and you know, I don't now because I burned it out, you know.
Right.
But yeah, it was a great time, really.
Guys, thank you so much for being on the show. One last question. If there was an album you could be a fly on the wall in the studio for, which record would it be?
Yeah. XL on Main Street would have been entertaining to watch, I think. It went on for months and months, and there were some interesting stories, so you know, that would have been fun. Lovely weather down there as well. South France.
I'd go for the Zodiak Cosmic Sounds. Are you aware of this album? Like it was 1967 release on Elektra, sort of cashing in on flower power and psychedelia and everyone being into horoscopes and stuff. And it's a 12-song album, and like they've got the Wrecking Crew, the rhythm section, Carol Kay on bass and Hal Blaine. You got to check it out. It's hilarious, but as well as being genuinely amazing music.
And Hal Blaine just passed away, I think, right? Recently? Yeah. But what a session guy. I mean, that guy played on
hundreds of top 40 hits or whatever, yeah.
That's a tough question, Mick.
Yeah, no, well, Jimmy mentioned Revolver. I mean, that would have been fantastic to see just how fast that came together, because, you know, I've read the Abbey Road, you know, huge big book about day to day, what happened and stuff, and it'd be incredible to see how quickly they came up with the ideas and who came up with the ideas.
What about the Bowie sort of Berlin? Because you recorded at Hansa once, didn't you?
Yeah.
Did you feel the ghosts of Bowie creeping and Eno creeping through the walls?
I mean, it had been remodeled when we got there. So
The wall was down there.
I think the studio's moved up 2 floors, but I did go into the big hall where Bowie famously did the Heroes with the 3 mics, you know. And that's still kind of, it's like a huge, big, you know, sort of elegant ballroom. And that would have been pretty amazing to see. But probably better to see, you know, Lust for Life, which I think was done there as well, I'm sure. And that, you know, sort of see Hunt and Tony Sales, one of the best rhythm sections in the world.
Yeah, I was thinking a few of Iggy's really, but I like that one he did called Kill City so much, and I think he did it in Los Angeles at a time when he was kind of in between what he was not handled by the New York thing or the Bowie stuff, you know, that, which I love all that stuff, I love it. But Kill City, like I think from what I read, that's when he was Iggy's most out of control, you know, because now he's out of control, but he's in control, you know what I'm saying?
He was in and out of rehab when he was,
you know what I'm saying?
And mental institutions, I think, when he made that album, that he had to do some recording, go back to the hospital.
But then I was thinking too, like Raw Power, you know, with Kale and then, and I would love to have been there when he suggested to put that piano in I Want to Be Your Dog. With these guys from Detroit, I can imagine Iggy being cool like that, but I can't imagine the other guys who were a bit more gruff being like, piano on this, dude? But I'll be damned if it's not the coolest, if it doesn't make it the coolest shit. You know what I'm saying? And John Cale being so dignified, he's a brandy man, you know what I mean? He'd be so dignified.
A brandy man. I like
he's I think a little piano here, and what? And that tune is just magic. I mean, you know, it's like, I can't decide between those ones.
But then didn't Ron get that riff, the idea for, is it 1969 or No Fun from the Birds album. You know, it's the track on the flight. The what's it? The Doctor. I can't remember what the album is. It's got Going Back on it and stuff.
Right.
Artificial Energy. There's one track that just basically goes into this this riff, which is where he got it from, I think.
Maybe the riff.
forget
I
the name
think
of the song.
Iggy got the line from Johnny Cash. I keep a close watch on the star mine. You know, that's about 1969. The rhythm of the lyric came from that, apparently.
But the Iggy record we listen to most as a band, definitely, is New Values, which is the most under kind of romanticized one, and yet it's track after track of awesome.
Is that the one where he's sitting in like a cantina, drinking like a Pepsi?
No.
There's a Pepsi on the table. You know what I mean?
So it's the one with I'm Bored and 5 Foot 1. And
Ballet. It's like looking at a ballet pose on the front.
Yeah.
Nobody's got on board on it. It's nobody
Yeah.
really. James Williamson's on it, I believe, or he produced it, or maybe both. It's just like nobody really knows.
Scott Thurston on the guitar.
It's really good. I mean, if you
Right,
like Iggy and you
Iggy.
haven't heard it, that's the one worth checking out.
Go out and buy it,
Sure.
kids.
We all
Yeah.
love, there's a band we all love that album. Yeah.
Endless Sea, of course.
Yeah.
And the sea.
Which appears in sound checks.
God bless you. Guys, thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you so much for watching, and please subscribe.
And if you're really feeling it, please hit us up on Patreon. Cheers.